Hey everyone, welcome to the Executive Compass. This is where we get insights from executive firm founders. We'll dive into their story, how they got started, their challenges and opportunities, and how they're shaping their business for the future. For those of you who are watching this podcast, I'm Amisha Srimankar, founder of Vectra Growth Partners, and we help B2B exec firms with their lead generation. Today's guest is Jordi Kern, founder of Seven Eagle Group. Jordi is here to talk about veteran placement, challenges, opportunities, and how companies can better tap into veteran talent. Hey, Jordi, thank you so much for joining.
Hi, Misha. So nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, how are you today?
Doing well, thank you. Excited to
Awesome.
chat.
Yeah, and where are you calling in from?
I'm in Massachusetts, western part of Mass, big college town. We have
Yeah.
five colleges in my little town here.
I know. We're thinking of doing a college tour visit, hopefully next summer. My son's gonna be in 11th grade, so it's coming up. So we want
Nice.
to
Oh,
start
that's great.
visiting. Yeah,
Good deal.
awesome. All right, Jordy, I am excited to have you on the podcast today. For our audience who's going to be watching, do you mind doing a brief introduction?
Sure, no sweat. So I have run a variety of businesses over my last 35 years of working, and I've always struggled to consistently find like just top performers, right? Too many people I hired, just they came and went without really like moving the needle on the business. And everything changed when I hired an Army veteran at a prior business. He joined our sales team and he just brought this leadership, this grit, this persistence. Like he did the work of like five people. And that experience changed my perspective. I became obsessed with helping other businesses tap into this incredible talent pool while also giving back to these amazing men and women who have served our country. So I started Seven Eagle Group. It's been 12 years now, and we help companies make just really risk-free and smart hiring decisions and allowing them to test drive this talent before officially hiring them. It's just been amazing, and the results for these businesses have been better retention. They profits increase, they impact the other workers on the team. So it's a real win-win for everyone.
Excellent. What unique strengths do veterans and, maybe military spouses bring consistently that
Yep.
employers otherwise underestimate?
Yeah, and I didn't serve myself. My dad did in World War II. I wish I did, but this has been my way to give back. But over the last 12 years, I've had the absolute privilege of working with thousands of them. They have been just put in situations that the typical civilian does not experience. They are trained by the best leaders in the world to have this toughness, this goal-oriented mindset, the ability to figure problems out, to just get that job done, no matter what cost. And those are soft skills that it doesn't matter what job they end up doing, they can be taught the technical skills of a position. But to have that strong foundation is something every business in America can benefit from.
Yeah. And what do your best employer partners say they get from Seven Eagle that they can't anywhere else?
So we're a little unique in that we are a part of this amazing government program. It's called SkillBridge, and the military allows service members who are at the end of their time in service, typically 3 to 4 months, to come to an organization like ours, and we work with them full time during their transition. And we run an academy online every day. It's 5 hours a day on Zoom. It's going on right now. And during that academy, we teach them all about how to identify your target career path, how to network, how to interview, how to build your LinkedIn page. And then we bring in about 20 different executives every week to come meet with these transitioning veterans online on Zoom, and it's like a career fair every day. So we have people from the sports world and music and cybersecurity and real estate and construction. They come in and they just share what it's like to work in that space. And then the transitioning veterans, it helps them decide what they want to do. And then once they choose their path, then we try to hook them up with it to complement their training with us, an on-the-job training experience. So we put them into these companies that they want to work for. And during that time, they're going to continue to receive their military salary. So they get a chance to sort of test drive a potential industry in a company to see if they really like it. The company gets to do the same with them So at the end of that 2 or 3 month period, if they both like each other, which is the goal, you have a really good hire who's going to stay a little longer than your average hire because they've got through that awkward sort of getting to know you phase.
Yeah, it's kind of like an internship, but different phase of life, right? Like
And
you can,
some of these folks are 25 years in the military. They're high ranking, veterans. These are really squared away people, and they're basically coming to work for you, and you don't have to pay their salary.
excellent. Where do you find that they navigate to? Like, is there a particular industry, or where are their strengths suited better to have those careers in the long
Yeah,
run?
good question. Probably the most popular path is technology. That's where a lot of people, and that's probably in the civilian side too, they're gravitating towards tech because there are just so many opportunities there. But we fill positions in all different industries. The nice thing about the veteran, like I said, is he or she is trained with these strong foundational skill sets to really just do any job well. They just have to be taught the process for that and the technical aspects, but they can train. A lot of them, we call them pivot, where they did one job in the military, but they come out and they go down a different path now with their civilian side. But anything having to do where any forward-facing position, they're extremely good at, communication skills and professionalism. And so we place a lot of people into, operations roles, supervisors, project managers, sales reps, obviously techs, so
Yeah.
it's really across the board.
Yeah, amazing. And for a veteran, just finding you online, and I know you said the trial period or the pilot
Yeah.
internship or whatever, it takes 2 to 3 months when they are feeling the employer
Yeah.
out to see if that's the route they want to go. But from just finding you online, what does their journey typically look like from that first contact with Seven Eagle
Yep.
and then landing that,
Right.
career opportunity?
So we have open enrollment for our academy. It's open to anyone in the military community, whether it be a transitioning service member, a vet, or a military spouse. At our webpage, which is 7eagle.com, the number 7, the word eagle, they can go there and just fill out the form on that homepage, and that'll get them enrolled. Like I said, we go every weekday. We're in there for 5 hours, and everyone's welcome to attend, and the more the better. And we're always looking for companies too that want to experience this incredible talent pool. We love for them to come on and experience it, and we give them an hour each to present their company and their industry, and they can hire unlimited people out of this program from us.
And what I'm understanding is that there is a training component in SkillBridge, right? You're teaching them skills and things.
You got
And
it.
is there a curriculum, or is it just ad hoc? What does that look like?
We have a structured curriculum for the first week. We call it our Foundations Week, where we're teaching them a lot of these basic, tools that they'll need throughout their career. And then after that is when we have the speakers come in every day. It's a different group.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. I'd love to know why the name Seven Eagle.
I wish I had a good reason for it. 7 was my favorite number growing up, and I was looking for something just short, patriotic sounding that I didn't have to spell out for people when they're asking what's your web address. So I settled on that. So I'll have to come up with a good reason why I chose it, but that's
No,
what I'm sticking with.
it's a unique sounding name. It's definitely something that you don't
Yeah,
forget, right? Like when you introduce yourself as that. Okay.
yeah.
Great. What does your day to day look like, Jordy, in the business?
Oh gosh, we have an amazing team, great leadership team who do a lot of the day-to-day operations of the business, but I do a lot of work with the partners. These are the hiring companies who are getting access to this talent pool. We do strategic partnerships with other companies in the military community that I'm involved with. We're very creative company. We're always coming up with new ways to make things better and improve our processes. So I spend a lot of time doing that as well.
Awesome.
And I love every minute of it. I wish I came across this career when I was starting my career out in my 20s. It took me 25 years to find something that I just absolutely love.
Wait, and you found it, right? But
Yeah,
you never.
absolutely.
What are the challenges that you see as a recruiter and possibly a mentor and someone who's the face of the company? What are
Yeah, so like any business, at the end of the day, we're in the sales business, right? We're trying to get as many veterans into our community, and we're at the same time we're trying to get as many companies into the community. We need both sides to make those matches and to make those hires. So it's just more of each of those. that we work on every day.
Yeah. And when an employer partner first plugs into your network, what are they usually struggling with in their hiring that they can't fill those roles with
Yeah.
veterans?
It's probably, and this I've learned over my 35 years in working, there is no greater challenge to a business owner than the men or women on their team, right? It's you can have the greatest business idea in the world, but if you don't have good people to execute it and to run that business, it falls apart. So, every business needs good people, every one of them. They need those top 5%ers, right, who are really going to drive the growth of that company. And it's hard. It's hard to find that, especially today with AI. It makes applying to jobs even easier for candidates. So, an average company in America receives 250 applicants for every job opening they have. That's average, right? If you have a brand name company like Nike or Pepsi or IBM, probably getting 2,000 applicants for every job, but the average one is about 250. It's hard. It's super hard to distinguish between the top performers and the ones who are not going to help your company based on their resume, which was probably written by ChatGPT, based on interview answers, which can be canned and prepared, right? Based on references that are always friendly, right? You really need to see these candidates in action. You know instantly. You hire somebody and you watch them perform for the day or 2 days or 3 days, you know instantly if what they told you in the interview process matches. Is that aligned? More often than not, unfortunately, it's not aligned, and you really need to let your eyes do the evaluation. And for both sides too, for candidates as well, they need to know, hey, is this the company I want to be at for my, regardless of what they told me in the interview phase, how is it like working, what's it like working with my boss? What are the colleagues like? The culture, what is the mission of the company, right? And sometimes you don't know that until you start working there. So we take all that risk, and it is risky today to hire people because you just don't know. We remove all that risk for both sides and allow them to make smart hiring decisions.
Is it mandatory for a veteran to go through the SkillBridge program to get acquainted with how you do things before they land a placement?
No, that's just for the transitioning ones. They come through that program. For the veteran, maybe they've been out of work, or they're unemployed. They're underemployed, and they're looking for a new career path. They would be a direct hire for that company. There would not be a trial period, so to speak.
And how do they find you?
Because we've been in the community for over a decade, we have a pretty good reputation and name, so we're pretty active on social media and in the directories out there. So the candidates find us that way. The companies find us we get a lot of business from referrals. We do a lot of outreach of our own, in and email and phone. And so any way we can get our name in front of people, we try to do.
And would you say referrals are your number one source of whether it's veterans coming through or the...
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, excellent.
When people have a good experience, they'll tell their buddies.
Of course, word of mouth trumps everything, right?
Yeah.
That's how it is. You mentioned something about AI and how that's kind of impacting search and the procedures that we're seeing. And I have spoken to a lot of search firm founders, and the general consensus is they look down upon, they're not in favor of AI doing the interviews, right? They'd rather have a human doing that. Yes, they see how it could be an efficient partner by going through the resumes and kind of finding a needle in a haystack, so to speak. But a lot of the things, the human element is very critical to how they run the business. I'd love to know what's your take, and how much of AI do you currently use in your operations day to day, and how much is it still mostly all human?
Yeah, it's such a great question, and I wish there was an easy answer to this AI, because I love it. I live on it all day. I love AI, but I think it's having an adverse effect, right? Meaning that, and I'm sure you're the same way. You get an email from somebody, even a phone call now. Is there somebody behind this, or is that just an AI message that was sent? You don't know what's real, what's not real. In the job world, of job getting world, everyone needs a resume. Even though I hate resumes, they are required. You have to have one. You're absolutely crazy if you do not have a resume that is perfect for you and the job you want, right? There's no excuse to have a crappy resume. You just plug it in into AI, and in 5 seconds, you'll have, you know, a resume it's only going to say good stuff about you, right? It's not going to say, oh, I have a hard time getting out of bed in the morning. I can't get along with people, right? It's only going to inflate your worth. From a hiring manager standpoint, it's incredibly difficult to differentiate from a resume and interview answer. I mean, people now are doing Zoom interviews. They have another computer listening to the question, and they're reading the answer that you just asked me, and it's a perfect answer, right? So how do you pick someone when they have those tools at their fingertips, you know? We tell our candidates, listen, you're going to be judged on your resume, unfortunately. You might as well make it great. Use these tools that are available, make it great, personalize it to the job, all that stuff, right? You know, same thing with your interview. Practice your interview answers. Let ChatGPT help you craft great interview answers for the questions you know you're going to get. Tell me about yourself. Why are you a great addition to the team, right? But at the end of the day, you're going to have to get face to face with people, right? Mm-hmm. Whether it's on Zoom or in person, and you got to present well for both sides, right?
Yeah, no, true.
I mean, I have such mixed feelings about AI. I love it on one hand, but I hate it on another. It's making it really challenging for candidates to stand out from that, right? Mm. Take those, even there are services now where they say, hey, we'll apply to 200 jobs on your behalf per day for you, right? So you pay them a fee, and all of a sudden, every week you have 1,000 applications at companies all over you don't even know anything about these companies until they call you and say, hey, you want an interview? Yeah. Or more likely don't call you, right? So now the average number of applicants per job is going to go through the roof with those tools, right? Now, if you're the hiring manager for that company and you have 1,000 applications, how do you possibly sort them? Where do you even begin? You can't meet with 1,000 people. You can't call 1,000. What do you do, right? Yeah. So it just gets harder and harder to differentiate who's my top performer in that group. And often the top performer is not the one who has a great resume. They might have a mediocre resume. They might not impress you in an interview, but man, you get them working for you and you're like, holy crap, this guy will run through a wall for me. He is awesome, right? You can't judge it based on the resume and the interview, you know, and you need that human element in there, and it's hard. I think it's like we got to go backwards now a little bit to get away from this AI in some sense.
Totally. And I think that's where exec search founders like you come in, right? Because you're like, no, I've met this person, I've spoken to him, I understand his credentials, I can bet on what he's saying is true because we've vetted him and he's gone through a rigid vetting process, and that's why we're bringing this person over to you. So that's where I feel that the exec search founders, they have a bigger, opportunity right now because of all these things that you just told me.
Yeah.
Here's my follow-up question. Do you find that candidates who interview maybe in person have a better chance of getting hired versus being in person and just reading off a script maybe, or just being on the, okay.
Yeah. The jobs go to not the most qualified people. They go to the most likable people. Mm-hmm. Those are the ones who get hired. Often because there's always somebody out there with better experience, better school, better connections, right? But if we get face to face and we click and you're like, oh man, I really like Jordie. I can envision him working here. Almost like the resume stuff goes to the side a little bit, and you're going to hire me for my soft skill, right? The personality, the grit, the stuff that you can't tell from a piece of paper. And that it's every advantage is in your court if you can get face to face with people, Not easy today, but that's the goal.
And do you place candidates all over the country, or is it?
We do, all over the world. Yeah, we have candidates in Japan and England and wherever their military bases.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And do you encounter any, say, misconceptions from employers about hiring veterans? Is there that conversation that you have head on? Like, do you sense that, or do they ask you?
Did you say the stereotypes of hiring a vet? Was that the question?
Yeah. You'd like to clear up once and for all.
Yeah, exactly. 97% of Americans did not serve. They're civilians like me, right? Mm-hmm. So they don't fully understand the military experience. They don't really get what a veteran does, what somebody does in the service. They might have a vague idea, but especially when a veteran who is not necessarily trained on how to market themselves to a civilian employer. They come out of the service and they using like some military or expecting the hiring manager to understand what a lieutenant it does in the military or what it means to be artillery or working in, it's hard. You have that communication issue. So there's education that needs to take place during that process. So when we're working with our transitioning service members, we're trying to like civilianize everything they do, from their resume to their LinkedIn to the way they introduce themselves, right? And to try to present themselves as this amazing, as a civilian with this amazing military experience in my past, but not, I'm a veteran, hire me. Because the average civilian might think he's where's his gun? Why is he not, right? Is he running around the desert shooting people? Like some people just don't understand or aren't educated on that process. And so sometimes we have to, we spend a lot of time educating them to do that.
Yeah, great. And what are the typical number of hiring rounds that happen for a veteran when they're going through the interview process? Is it 1, 2, 3, like on average?
Yeah, on average, I would say it's probably a phone screen or a Zoom screen with somebody. That's usually one. And then it's depending on the role, right? The higher up the role, there are going to be more people involved, and that might be 2, 3, 4 interviews, which is absolutely ridiculous. It's getting to be way too many for these companies.
I hear that.
And they stretch it out over 3 months or whatever. But we try to make them go quick. And the beauty it's to everyone's advantage to go fast through that process. But because if you don't, you will lose out on good candidates. The good candidates always get picked up by someone. Somebody's going to headhunt them away. And if you take your time on a really good candidate, you will lose him or her, know. And the candidate, if you're a good candidate, and the company's sort of, we haven't looked at it yet. We'll get back to you in 2 weeks. You're like, screw them. I don't want to be treated like that, right? So it's got to go fast. You got to be thorough. Yeah. But for us, there's no better thoroughness than seeing somebody work for you. So why not have them come work for you for a month, 2 months, 3 months, or a week? It doesn't even matter. You'll know instantly after that, hey, we're a good match.
Yeah. And is that typically a paid arrangement, or is that typically?
They're getting paid by the military to do that.
Okay.
So there's no cost to the company.
Yeah, that's a great incentive.
So you need a sales rep on your team. What do you typically do? You hire one person, and then you hope and pray that one person's going to pan out and make money for you, right? With us, you can hire 5 people, and for this, take all 5 of them. Let them fight it out. Who's going to be the best? Correct. You'll make such a smarter hiring decision at the end of that.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Great. When you look at the stories coming out of the Seven Eagle community, which types of success or impact matter most to you personally?
Oh man, great question. I love helping the service member who comes out. Let's just say somebody was a mechanic in the Army and they feel like, I was a mechanic, I guess I'll have to go work at Jiffy Lube changing oil. Right? They feel like that's their only skill set. And I love to work with those folks and just really boost their confidence. Say, no, you got leadership, you got dedication, you got persistence, you could do anything. And to get that person fired up to believe that he or she can do anything, and then set them down a different type path than maybe one where they didn't set the bar that high for themselves. We want to get them into well-paying jobs where they feel like they're making a difference every day and they're earning the money that, So I love those types of stories. And when we can get somebody to follow their passion. Most people, when they're on the job hunt, don't do that, right? They might say, oh, I'm unemployed, or I'm looking for work. I live in Miami, and let me see who's hiring in Miami. And they'll go on to Indeed, LinkedIn. Oh, that's interesting. Apply. It's just so reactive, the way people look for jobs, as opposed to saying, all right, let me take a break. What do I really want to do? What's going to bounce me out of bed in the morning when I have to get to work because I'm so excited? What would I do if I wasn't even getting paid? And if we could identify that for each person, they will then get hired much more quickly because they're going to interview with passion and excitement. And they'll get hired for more money. They'll climb the ladder faster, right? It's a big difference when you can go down a career path that excites you versus where you feel like you're drawn to it. It's your purpose, your why, versus another job, right?
Totally.
The jobs don't last.
Yeah, and Jordy, do you help them find or reignite their passion or help them?
Yeah, we spend a lot of time doing that. It's not easy because it's a lot of soul searching and but just getting to hear the stories of 20 different executives each week, something usually sparks, "Oh my, I didn't know I could do real estate and start my own investing business." Yeah, let me learn more about that. So we try to encourage that when we can.
This has been such a good conversation. I'd like to ask you one more thing. What's one thing you could leave our audience? They're mostly exec search firm founders like you. One key message or any advice in regards to growing their business and continue being successful.
Oh my gosh. Well, in sort of our space of the hiring, right? My advice would be to get rid of the risk for yourself, man. When you or your client wants to bring on a candidate, give them a 1 day trial. Pay them for that day, but let them do a trial. Make sure you guys are aligned before you permanently seal it. Because what happens when you rush to hire somebody is the odds are against it working out. I don't care what the resumes say, what they told you in an interview, what you think about. It could be 100 different reasons why you're not aligned. It could be the spouse doesn't want you working there. It could be the commute is too long and you get stuck in traffic. It could be, some colleague, they don't click and now they hate the job, right? There's so many reasons, but let people do a trial. Just go slower, even if it's working at night or on a weekend, or give them a project to do. But this method is extremely effective when you guys can sort of test drive one another before permanently making it. Because if you don't, from the candidate standpoint, say you get into a job, we've all had them, you get in a job, you think it's one thing, you start working there, you're like, oh, this sucks, right?
Yeah.
But you're like, I don't want to be unemployed again. They're paying me, let me just stay.
Yep.
And that's the worst type of
It is.
employee, that mediocre, checked out person, right? And it's bad for the candidate too. Who wants to go through life like that? It's
True.
not good for anyone. Companies need to have the people on their teams who are going to be top performers who really want to be there, right?
Yeah,
And
true.
when that happens, I think business takes off. Not
That
easy, but that would be my bit of advice.
no, that's unique advice. I don't think I've heard anyone say that. So thank you. Where can people find you, Jordy, if they'd like?
So yeah, our webpage is 7eagle.com, the number seven, the word eagle.com. I'm on LinkedIn, Jordi Kern. I think I'm the only Jordi Kern on LinkedIn, so it's easy to find me. And yeah, we'd love if you're in the military or know someone who is, we'd love to help. If you are with a business who could benefit from some of this incredible talent, we would love to be a resource for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time and great
Thank you,
conversation.
Amisha. This was fun. I appreciate the